Now, police are hunting for two men suspected of murdering the Fakude family in Mpumalanga. Businessman Johnson Fakude, his wife and two young daughters were killed at their home near Bushbuckridge on Tuesday night. The motive is still unknown. Masego Rahlaga is in the area and joins us now. Masego, what have we been able to establish about this heinous crime?
Well, what we do know, Mfundo, is that it was on Tuesday evening at around 7:30. Mr. Johnson Fakude, his wife and his two young daughters, aged 10 and 8, were inside the yard. He was in fact sitting outside right here on that spot where you're seeing that lady pass. He was sitting right there having apparently some peanuts outside, enjoying the weather. You can imagine an area such as Bushbuckridge, a very warm area. So in the evenings are also quite warm. So he was sitting out here, and as you can see there, the sand was used to cover his blood. He got shot in the head, and the perpetrators then walked into the house, and this is the entrance that they used to get into the house, and getting into this sliding door that you see my colleague reporterMasego get into. Now, on this side is the living area, or rather the area where they would watch TV, and his wife was sitting on this couch that you see flipped over, along with her two daughters. They flipped the couch over because of how bloody it still was. They were sitting here, and all three of them were also shot in the head, also succumbing to their injuries immediately. So that's what we know happened here on Tuesday evening. Neighbors telling us that they heard several gunshots. They started screaming, as you can imagine, because they say this is not an area where you would ordinarily be hearing such things. And one neighbor has told us, obviously, a lot of them we've had to conceal their identities. They told us that they saw two young men jumping over the fence and running on foot. So it seems that somebody that might have known the family and somebody who is probably living in the area, and that is why most of the neighbors have asked us not to show their faces, because they believe that because there was no car that helped the guys get away, it means it might be somebody who's from this area.
A very, very disturbing scene there. What do we know about the family, though, themselves? We do understand that Mr. Johnson Fakude was a businessman. What else are you getting from the neighbors and everybody around there?
So the neighbors have described them as a family that was helpful. What we know about Mr. Johnson Fakude is that he was involved in an accident, and he became disabled from that because he had to have one of his arms, he didn't have an arm after that accident. And therefore he got some monies from your road traffic management, your RAF rather, your road accident fund. And from that money he decided to start a business. And he's got two offices. He actually has people that he employs, drivers, etc. So this is a man who created jobs for the people of Bushbuckridge and another area not so far from here in Mpumalanga. That was the business of loaning people money. And therefore that is what police and his family believe could have been the motive. But especially because the perpetrators took nothing, Mfundo. All they took were their IDs and this particular man's cell phone.
Oh, probably could be some sort of a lead there. Masego, thank you very much for that update. We'll catch up with you a bit later on. That's our reporter, Masego Rahlaga.